Degrees at kickoff as he sends it down toward the goal line, and a fair catch made by Peyton Lewis. So Tennessee will start at the 25-yard line, led by Joey Aguilar. 1,680 passing yards this season. 6'3", 225 pounds, from Antioch, California, the East Bay in the San Francisco Bay Area. Has thrown for 200 yards or more in every start of his career, all 30 of them. This is his 7th for Tennessee. The first 24 came at Appalachian State. Off the play fake, he's on target to the far sideline to Chris Brazel, who's out of bounds short of the first down. An 8-yard gain, and as usual, Tennessee will go very quickly. They run a play about every 21.5 seconds. There was some movement before that snap for a false start against the Vols.
Before the snap, false start. Offense.
Looked like the entire left side of the offensive line just got a bit of an early start there, and communicating at the line of scrimmage with this hostile environment, a huge challenge for Joey Aguilar in this game.
Biggest road crowd he's ever played in front of. It's his second SEC road start. They had the win at Mississippi State. It comes out to the near side. Six-yard gain. Xavier Brown made the tackle on Mike Matthews.
This is something you're not often used to seeing with Josh Heupel's offenses in the past, but this year they've intentionally gone to become a little more deliberate, willing to huddle, especially on critical down and distance like 3rd and short to start the game.
Deafening noise. Aguilar under center on 3rd down and 2. Deshaun Bishop, the running back. They are running back by committee. Bishop got the call and he got stuffed. Got barely across the line of scrimmage. Deontay Lawson leading the way.
A great play by Deontay Lawson, anticipating the snap and shooting the gap right inside the left guard Umarov, dropping the back right behind the backfield. A terrific start for the Tide.
James Smith there as well for Alabama. Here's Jackson Ross, the 26-year-old Australian, to punt. Cole Adams back deep for it. And it's a good punt, end over end, and driving Adams back inside the 15. And he slipped down inside the 10. 52-yard punt. That breeze was at the back of Ross. So here comes Alabama on offense. Very impressive numbers for Ty Simpson, particularly the 16 touchdown passes, which leads the conference to only 1 interception.
What's been most impressive is command, how quickly he's anticipating throws, understanding what the defense is giving him, and having an answer for both pressure and coverage on every snap.
It's the first time this year Tennessee did not score points on its opening possession. They had scored in all 6 games the first time they had the ball. Jam Miller dropped for a loss back at the 6-yard line. Bryson Eason up front for the Tennessee defense, which has struggled, giving up 29.3 points per game. Only Arkansas has yielded more points per game in the Southeastern Conference.
And the numbers don't look good as far as points per game is concerned, for sure. The coverage has been a little spotty and they've been a little inconsistent up front, but they always seem to make plays behind the line of scrimmage. Getting Bama off schedule is a huge priority for Tennessee's defense.
They play aggressively. They play for turnovers and tackles for a loss. They do give you a chance to make a big play against them. Quick slant. Simpson's pass incomplete. Colton Hood had the coverage on Isaiah Horton.
These are the down and distances that Alabama has done such a great job of avoiding the last few weeks. They've been very good on 1st and 2nd down, and a vast majority of their 3rd downs have been 3 or less. So behind the sticks, is not comfortable for them.
Simpson on 3rd and long in the end zone and in trouble. Gets rid of it and has a man open over the middle for a first down. Josh Cuevas. An 18-yard gain when it looked like they might sack Simpson for a safety.
And a great job by Ty Simpson avoiding the initial rush, buying a little more time, and they just completely lose track of Cuevas over the middle of the field. And as a tight end, he is excellent yards after catch. He knows how far he has to go. He gets north and south, doesn't dance, and picks up a critical conversion.
%53% on 3rd down coming in. A very good number, and they convert on 3rd and long. There's a flag down, could be a free play, and the pass is over the head of Jeremy Bernard with Colton Hood in coverage again.
Offside. Defense. Number 57. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
I think the biggest change in this Alabama offense this year has been how good they are on 3rd down. Doesn't matter if it's 3rd and long, even if it's 4th and long, like 4th and 8 last week against Missouri. They have been so good. That's why they won the game at Missouri. That's why they won the game at Georgia. And they're off to a nice start against a good Tennessee front.
Ryan Grubb, first-year offensive coordinator here at Alabama. Been with Kalen DeBoer a long time. Didn't come with them from Washington. Spent 1 year in the NFL with the Seattle Seahawks. Jam Miller tackled by Jackson Moy, senior, part of that defensive front for Tennessee. He's a transfer from Stanford, a 1-yard gain.
This defensive front is very deep. They roll 12 along the front, and they feel really good about just about all of them. Only 12 guys have recorded a tackle for loss for the Volunteers this year. That's remarkable depth in this era.
They have 26 sacks, second in the country. They come after Simpson, forced to pull it down. Throws, caught for another first down. Out near the 40-yard line. Lazir Brooks made the catch, the freshman from Millville, New Jersey.
And this is something that's very important for Ty Simpson all day, is an aggressive pass rush with really good personnel. He cannot drop too deep in the pocket, but if those pass rushers get pushed, you escape north and south, keep your eyes downfield, and someone might uncover.
Kevin Riley, the running back now, as they line up in the pistol, and Riley shifted to the left hip of Simpson. Ty's a Tennessee native from Martin, Tennessee, in the northwest corner of the state. Short completion over the middle to Brooks again for 4 more. Tackled by Jalen McMurray. Similar to last year, both teams were 5-1 when they met in Knoxville on the 3rd Saturday in October. Alabama was ranked number 7. Tennessee was number 11, as the Vols are this year. Tonight, Alabama's number 6. The big difference coming into that game last year, Greg, Tennessee had not given up more than 19 points in a game. They were an excellent defensive team. This year, as we said, not anywhere near as good.
And it's mostly in the back end at corner where they've had some injuries.
Jamad McCoy and Ricky Gibson, who would be starters. There's a deep ball and a catch over the shoulder by Ryan Williams to the 25 of Tennessee for 31 yards.
And a thing of beauty here from Ryan Williams, timing his jump perfectly, tapping that toe just before he goes out of bounds, and that's got to be a great sign for the young sophomore who's had some ups and downs this year. He's dealt with a couple injuries, but they say he's finally healthy and in a position to create big plays again.
He did not have a catch last week in their win at Missouri for the first time in his career in 18 games. He has been banged up. They think he's healthier. Here's a trick play, and this one's going to go a long way. Williams turned the corner. Simpson out there trying to block for him. First and goal, tied at the 9-yard line.
Man, this play took a long time to develop. You can see the late pitch, and there's nobody home. It's a very aggressive front that will over pursue, so misdirection can be very helpful for the Tide's offense tonight.
Briskly on the move. Jeremy Bernard to the 4-yard line on the 9th play of the drive. They started at their own 9-yard line.
This is a great starting drive for Alabama. They've gotten most of their playmakers started. They've got a look at a couple receivers. Ryan Williams has already gotten going. It looks like Ty Simpson's seeing the field pretty well.
J.M. Miller, the running back. Williams in motion again. Miller straight ahead. Still fighting. They're going to mark it back near the 2 for a 2-yard gain. Here comes 3rd down and goal. Midway through the first quarter.
Knowing Kalen DeBoer's aggressiveness, he's one of the best in the country when it comes to allowing his offense to go for it on 4th down. And I would anticipate inside the 2, assuming no lost yardage here, it's 2-down territory.
11th play of the drive, a balance of run and pass, 5 of each to this point. Bernard lines up, as does Cuevas. Now it's Cuevas who goes in motion. Simpson to the goal line, touchdown, Isaiah Horton. What a drive, 91 yards in 11 plays. And Horton the touchdown, his 5th of the season. Simpson 5 out of 6 on the drive for 65 yards, now 17 touchdown passes and only 1 interception. Connor Talty's extra point makes it 7-zip.
Just a thing of beauty all the way down the field from Ty Simpson, who locates the mismatch on the outside with his big receiver. 11 plays, 91 yards in 6 minutes, give the Tide the 7-point lead.
Peyton Lewis back deep again for Tennessee on the Talty kickoff. And he's not going to try to bring that one back from about 2 yards deep.
Let's take a look at the touchdown on the AT&T Connected Cam. This is Ty Redmond. He's a freshman, talented young man, but it is moving fast for him. He's had some challenges in coverage and consistency this year. Ty Simpson recognizes the one-on-one against Isaiah Horton. It's a beautiful route by Horton. Very patient. Look at the timing. The ball is coming out as soon as Horton's getting out of his break, and Ty Simpson wore one on the back of it too. So good job there by the quarterback getting it out before the rush could get home.
Dominic Bailey with a hit that was almost late. So after failing to score in their first possession for the first time this year, here's Joey Aguilar and the Volunteers. Out of the tight formation, he's going to go down. Back inside the 15-yard line, Yonze Pierre for Alabama.
Just a great rush here by Pierre as they work inside. He's going to get matched up with the left guard, Moy. He just runs right through him and drops Aguilar.
They haven't had many sacks, just their 10th as a team. Loss of 9. They marked it on the 16-yard line. Quick throw by Joey Aguilar. Chris Brazel the run after the catch. And he's out of bounds across the 25. They'll give him the 27 for a gain of 11, but they still need 8 more on 3rd down.
The protection needs to be good. This offensive line for Tennessee has been outstanding all season long. To see some vulnerabilities early, it's a bit of a surprise, but on obvious passing situation, no Bama's pinning their ears back.
Aguilar in trouble again, on target. Terrific leaping catch and a 1st down. Chris Brazel using all of that 6'5" frame for a 17-yard gain.
And a great job too by Aguilar, moving in the pocket, buying just enough time and getting it to Brazel on the over route. That was well executed by Tennessee.
That's DeJohn Lee in coverage, the true freshman getting a start tonight. That pass is incomplete. And Bray Hubbard almost laid out the intended receiver, Mike Matthews. Dangerous throw in terms of the well-being of the receiver.
And that's one thing Alabama's defense does such a great job of. Kane Womack is a master of disguise, and Bray Hubbard, his safety, has great instincts. That time he nearly baited Aguilar into throwing it right to him, or a near blow up on the side.
On 2nd and 10, well blocked this time by the Vols, and that one is incomplete. Trying to get it to Braylon Staley. Looked like Justin Jefferson, who was dropping from his linebacker position, got a hand on it. He did. He's a Tennessee native from Memphis, playing against the Vols tonight.
Tennessee, so far another 3rd and long. They have got to be better on 1st and 2nd down to avoid this down and distance.
They bring a blitz. Aguilar got it off. It's the tight end, Miles Kitzelman. And he's very close to the 1st down. He's going to come up a yard short. 9-yard gain for the former Alabama tight end, who went leaping up and over Deshaun Lee.
And a tremendous effort there by Kitzelman, who I think is the unsung hero of this football team. You can see the effort on the progressive pylon cam, and that knee wears the ball as he goes down, because it was spotted at the 47-yard line. And I bet they're taking a look at it, because it looked like it was a little closer than that.
Rolling on the field, but the runner was short of the line of game. That play is under further review.
By John Allman, the replay official. 4:34 to go, 1st quarter. Alabama looking for it's not quite to the line to gain, which is the 46. They're about 1.5 feet short. Josh Heupel's going for it on 4th down. Crowded backfield. Kitzelman has the 1st down. They're now 4 for 4 on 4th down this season. The only team in the FBS that's perfect on 4th down, but 4 attempts is very few.
It's amazing. And if you look at their go no go percentages, they are 136th in college football. Just 11% of the time when they have that decision to be made, that they decide to go for it plus territory.
4 attempts on 4th down is also the fewest in FBS. Again, crowded around Aguilar, who hands it off to Bishop, who got pulled down for no gain, maybe a half yard. Bishop, part of running back by committee. Redshirt sophomore from Knoxville, came as a preferred walk-on, despite the fact that he had a prolific high school career, twice Mr. Football in Tennessee. Now on scholarship. Play action pass, Joey Aguilar, man open. And a lunging catch as he inbounds. For the moment, they're saying yes. Brazel another catch using that long frame. There's a flag down near side, back near the line of scrimmage.
Another player downfield, number 14. He was covered up. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Braylon Staley.
And it's pretty close, as you can see right here. Staley's right on the end of the line of scrimmage, but you have to check in with the linesman. Looks like he never got off the ball. Therefore, he was covered up by Matthews, who was just outside to his left. So that's kind of on the quarterback and the wide receiver to check in and make sure that you confirm that you're off the ball. So big missed opportunity there for Tennessee.
Wipes out a 17-yard gain. Aguilar on target. Staley the catch of a 6-catch performance last week in their win against Arkansas. That went for a career high 109 yards receiving.
Staley, I think, is bound to emerge at some point here in the next couple games. Still a young receiver, but very gifted. And on 3rd down, the guy that they've utilized mostly in these situations is Kitzelman, their tight end.
He was lined up to Aguilar's left. He looked in that direction. He gets sacked again by Yonze Pierre. Way back at the 46-yard line of Tennessee.
And Yonsei Pierre has been just waiting to get going, and here he does it again. The last time he won inside, but that was against the left guard. This time he's working against Lance Hurd. Kind of gets a little bit of a pick, it looked like, against Bishop, who knocked his tackle off the line just a hair. And Yonsei Pierre is able to drop Aguilar as he tried to escape.
Tennessee had given up only 4 sacks all year coming into tonight. They've given up 2 already. Fair catch made by Adams at the 11-yard line off the Jackson Ross punt of 43 yards. 7-0 Alabama, 1:45 to go in the first.
Field and Boog, down goes another top 10 team, number 7 Texas Tech.
Texas Tech goes down and just shows you even all that money can't buy an undefeated season.
Raleigh Brown going in, Arizona State, the winner 26-22. Yeah, it's worthy of the field storming. And congrats to Alex Morton, son of the late, great Chris Mortensen, our ESPN colleague. His head coaching debut, UAB, ends Memphis's undefeated season, Sean.
Wow. Congrats. Alex spent some time here in the Alabama program. Long throw, good catch. Ryan Williams on first down from their own 10. That's a 19-yard completion. Ty Simpson to Ryan Williams.
And another terrific catch by Ryan Williams. That ball's high. There's not a lot of great vision between the defender, him, and where the ball is coming from. He is off to an outstanding start.
He had a big game last year in their loss in Knoxville. He had 8 catches and a touchdown. In fact, he had the only touchdown of the first half.
That play is under further review.
Alabama led 7-0 at the half last year at Neyland Stadium. Tennessee rallied to win for the second time in the last 3 years, both of them at home.
It looked like juggled just a hair as he was going right there.
It's a catch.
Does it ever touch the ground? He, of course, holds it against that right shoulder pad. Let's see here. Does the ball touch the ground?
Well, let's bring in our rules expert, longtime Southeastern Conference referee, Matt Austin. Matt, what do you think?
Yeah, Sean, I don't think he ever had firm control of this ball, and I do think as he rolled over that the ball did touch the ground. I think this is going to be ruled an incomplete pass.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. He kind of bobbles it there, and right there you have to survive the ground all the way through and maintain firm control.
Well, where does he lose it, Matt, as we're looking at it? The ball disappears from that shot. That's where he hits the ground, but is it not wedged up against his bicep or shoulder?
Well, it's wedged between the part of his hand and his helmet, and that does not constitute firm control in my opinion. So I do think they'll overrule this.
Looks like it's still moving there too. So if it does,
but he hasn't dropped it.
Right.
I think it's a tough one, especially where the call on the field was a catch.
So hard with some of these catch no catch circumstances. It did look like the nose of the football touched the ground, but it's up to the judges as to whether or not it is firm control. Matt thinks no. Sean, you think yes?
Well, I don't think yes necessarily. I just don't see the ball ever really come free or hit the ground when it doesn't look like it's attached to his body. Of course, this process takes a while. It is collaborative with the conference involvement.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld.
Probably back to the original call, partly because there's no indisputable evidence beyond all doubt to overturn.
And we have a first time. It's the first time I disagree with Matt, and I was right.
Attaboy, Sean.
I wasn't necessarily right. I mean, the replay people agreed with me, which is also a first, I believe.
Hey. We're getting somewhere.
So it's a 19-yard completion and first down for Alabama. They went 91 yards on their first possession. This one started at the 10. It's a screen. Jam Miller could not escape the tackle at the 34-yard line. A 5-yard gain. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, Sean, Alabama coaches told us after nagging injuries, Ryan Williams finally has his speed back, and teammates were celebrating him on the sideline as if he were the one to score a touchdown on that last drive, saying, "I told you you were back." And Ty Simpson told him, "Keep it coming, don't let up." So it looks like they're trying to get him more involved tonight, Sean.
They are great friends. We visited 2 weeks ago with Ty Simpson and Ryan Williams together, and Ty Simpson described him as his best friend. Miller did well to get close to the first down marker. What will likely be the last play of the first quarter. They're going to mark him just shy with a 4-yard gain. It'll be 3rd and 1 when the second quarter begins.
The end of the first quarter.
With Alabama leading Tennessee 7-0 on a touchdown by Isaiah Horton. ESPN's presentation of college football on ABC will return. They took a look at the final play of the first quarter, moved the ball. Jam Miller did get enough for the first down. And now before the first snap of the second quarter, there's a false start.
Offense, number 1, 5-yard penalty.
Against Isaiah Horton, who scored the only touchdown of this game. It's the first Alabama penalty. Tennessee's been assessed 3. Ty Simpson threw an incomplete pass on his first pass of the night. He has completed 7 in a row since. They go out of the pistol with Miller, the running back, and Tennessee showing blitz. Simpson rolls left, throws a bomb, looking for Brooks, and he can't quite run under it. On return, Tide had the coverage. Ty Simpson's dad is here tonight, Jason Simpson, 20 years the head coach at Tennessee Martin, and already in a good mood as his team won today. The Skyhawks won at Gardner-Webb, so he had a chance to get here. One of the few times he's had a chance to watch Ty. He was at the opening game at Florida State, and of course that didn't go very well for Alabama and Ty Simpson. Dad made it in time for the pregame warm-up. We asked Ty about that yesterday. Well, your dad was only at the one game. It's the one game you lost. It didn't go very well. He said, "We're not superstitious. We're just stitious."
Just a little stitious.
Just a little stitious.
Just a tiny bit. And what football player isn't? But I know he's proud of his son. And I'll tell you what, Ty plays like a coach's son, man. So cerebral, making great decisions, and he has a lot of freedom at the line of scrimmage.
Timeout called by Ty Simpson.
First charge timeout. Alabama.
In the opening minute of the second quarter. Settler in high school in Martin, Tennessee, is a top quarterback prospect. Already has an offer from Alabama and several other schools. They're sitting with the recruits, not with Ty's mom, Julie's, in another section. Ty's the oldest of 3, sister Emma, the other sibling. Here's 3rd down and 9. They're 2 for 2 on 3rd down. They had a 3rd down and 13 conversion on their touchdown drive to start the game. Simpson, a bullet, and the ball comes out and ruled an incomplete pass. Lottie Brooks couldn't hang on to it.
On the field is an incomplete pass, 4th down.
That was a laser beam fired by Ty Simpson. Boo Carter in coverage for the Vols.
And man, did he throw that thing with a lot of velocity. And Lottie Brooks is a little bit behind him, pulled it in, thought he might have secured it, where Horton was able to jump down, thought it might be a fumble initially. I'm sure they're taking a look at it. But that was a great play, though, by Carter to try to strip that ball out.
I don't think he ever had it. Blake Dowd on the punt for Alabama. Boo Carter back deep, standing at his own 10. Low wobbly kick and a fair catch made by Carter. Here's Molly.
Well, Sean, you mentioned quarterback Ty Simpson's dad, Jason, the head coach at UT Martin, and he admitted to us before the game he tried to keep things moving in their win today so he could attend his son's game. They ran the ball more, over 240 yards. He didn't challenge a couple penalties, and thanks to NIL, Ty had a plane waiting for dad the second after this one went final. And you saw that embrace pregame. He told Ty, catch every snap, do the little things well, always coaching up his son, Sean.
Yeah, you can tell when you talk to Ty, he's the son of a coach, a very good coach. Won 5 Ohio Valley Conference championships, most of them in recent years. There's first down for Joey Aguilar in the Vols, and the catch made after a 9-yard gain by Braylon Staley. How about our visit 2 weeks ago with Ty Simpson? We asked him, did you ever think about going to UT Martin playing for your dad? He said, no, my dad said I'm not coachable.
Still intending to try, though, today before the game.
There's a first down pickup and a tough run by Peyton Lewis out to the 42. He got them some tough yards last week in that win against Arkansas. Scored a couple of touchdowns from down near the goal line. Picked up a late first down as they were protecting the lead. He got 11 there.
And that's really the identity of this Tennessee offense. Everyone thinks about the big plays, but it starts with the run game, and they need to get it going so they can avoid the 3rd and longs.
They rushed for 264 last week in their win over the Hogs. Lewis out near midfield with a 6-yard gain. Tennessee came into tonight, and they've been one of the highest scoring teams in the country all 5 years under Josh Heupel, having scored at least 34 points in every game this season. The only other team to do that was Texas Tech, and as Kevin Nagandi just showed you, they did not reach 34 in their loss at Arizona State tonight. Aguilar on target. And Mike Matthews the first down on a beautiful throw. Out of bounds at the 34 with 18 on that play.
And that's a throw right there that I don't think they had in the offense last year. I mean, that is a field side comeback, circus route, 15 yards downfield from the opposite hash. They just didn't trust Nico Iamaleava to make that throw, but they love Joey Aguilar's arm, and that's a big reason why he's wearing the orange and white.
He's definitely more consistently accurate than Nico was. Lewis, the ball carrier again. Sophomore from Salem, Virginia, got 2.
One thing with this offense, this is called the fringe part of the red zone. Traditionally, the red zone starts at the 20-yard line, but in an offense that's built on creating explosives, this is in many ways the red zone extended. So they love on second down to go heavy play action and try to take a shot. So Alabama needs to keep their antenna up.
Aguilar incomplete. Went by Kitzelman, who looked like he wasn't sure if the ball was intended for him or not. So here's 3rd down and 8. They are on the fringe of field goal range for Max Gilbert.
Kane Womack, the defensive coordinator for Alabama, this is an area of the field where he likes to bring pressure. He likes to heat up the quarterback because a sack likely knocks you out of field goal range.
The Vols 1 out of 4 on 3rd down. Aguilar got it off on target. Braylon Staley tripped up inside the 5. Deshaun Jones saved a touchdown for Alabama. It's a 30-yard gain for Tennessee. They run quickly to the line of scrimmage at the 2. Lewis dropped for a loss. Nakai Hill-Green and the Alabama defense lined up quickly. They know they need to be ready, and they were to drop that for a 2-yard loss.
And when Tennessee gets inside the 5-yard line, they are 90+% run. Why? Because the passing attack where they stretch the field disappears when the field condenses. But when the passes come, it's usually here on a second down with a play action trying to get somebody behind the defense.
Aguilar's thrown a touchdown pass in 17 straight games. Trying to make it 18. Now he pulls it down. Running out of time, and he gets blasted near the 2-yard line. Justin Jefferson there for Alabama.
This is the loudest section on the field. Right in front of the student section, you're about 15 yards away. Half have to make sure you communicate here, because false start or lost yardage takes away the ability to go for it on 4th down if you want.
Third down and goal from the 2. Lewis, the running back. Kitzelman shifted toward the backfield. Aguilar, touchdown! Braylon Staley in the back of the end zone. Staley's 3rd touchdown catch of the year. Redshirt freshman from Aiken, South Carolina. Ten plays, 78 yards. Staley had 3 catches on the drive, including the touchdown. Max Gilbert to tie it. And it's 7-7 with 9:46 to go in the first half. You're watching the Dr. Pepper Championship Drive. Game of the week from Tuscaloosa. Starner of R&R Cigars here in Tuscaloosa, hoping that he has to hand out some stogies to celebrate a victory. But the Vols tied it on a nice drive, 10 plays and 78 yards, and another touchdown pass for Aguilar, his 15th of the year. Josh Turbeville kicks off. Latsier Brooks is the deepest for Alabama. Usually a touchback for Turbeville, 39 times and 44 kickoffs. That one's going to go out of bounds. Kicking into that breeze that we mentioned at the start of the game.
Kicking team, number 94. Ball be placed at the 35-yard line. First down.
Well, the offensive staff for Tennessee have found the matchup that they like, and it's Staley against Day-Day Jones. This time they got it right there. The matchup is perfect in the back. You see immediately the uncover from Staley. Aguilar times it beautifully. It's just a terrific route, taking advantage of a matchup that is favorable for the Volunteers.
In 18 straight games with touchdown passes, now the longest active streak in the country. Blake Shapen of Mississippi State had thrown one in 21 straight games, where that streak ended today in Mississippi State's loss at Florida. By far the best starting field position for Alabama. They started their 9 and their 10. And Kevin Riley dropped for a loss by Jeremiah Thielander. Here's Molly.
Well, Sean, Tennessee quarterback Joey Aguilar took a hard hit on that last drive, and athletic training staff rushed over to him when he was on the sideline, and they were looking at the back of his neck. They still are. He tried to move his neck around and was in visible discomfort. They massaged the area, and he keeps testing the mobility of his neck, and it's very obviously bothering him, Sean.
Getting treatment as you speak, Molly. Ty Simpson's 9 for 11 for 95 yards and a touchdown. Riley again, nothing doing. Joshua Josephs, the outstanding defensive end. They call it the Leo position, hybrid of a defensive end and an outside linebacker.
This group for Tennessee along the defensive line is so good at gap penetrating. Now, that aggressiveness can sometimes come back to bite you, because you might get out of position from time to time. But when they win inside against an offensive lineman, they almost always drop the back behind the line of scrimmage to set up long yardage situations.
Tim Banks is the coordinator. They've had 446 tackles for a loss since 2021. That is most in the Southeastern Conference. They have talent up front, and they attack. Schematically, Simpson incomplete. Intended for Brooks. There's Banks on the right of your screen. Jalen McMurray was in coverage for Coach Banks.
And that was an excellent 3-play sequence for Tim Banks in this Tennessee defense. The offense gives them life. They've now tied the game, quieted the crowd just a bit. You force an immediate 3 and out. And all 3 plays played right into the strength of Tennessee. Negative yardage plays on 1st and 2nd down, forcing long yardage 3rd down.
Blake Dowd, the first-year punter. Boo Carter's back for it. He signals for a fair catch and makes it inside the 20. 48-yard punt. 7-7 the score. You're watching ABC Saturday Night Football. Presented by... But it is Aguilar to continue, at least for the moment. In a 7-7 game with 8:03 to go in the first half.
Sometimes with that neck, especially if it gets tight, it can have a bit of a disruption with your accuracy, so worth watching here.
He's 10 out of 13 so far for 118 and the touchdown. Off the play fake, takes the check down. That's a little too high for Peyton Lewis. Aguilar showed off tremendous accuracy in that game against Georgia. Started 14 for 14. And he wasn't checked down Charlie, as Rex Ryan would say.
It was certainly not dink and dunk that day. I think they were going for deep balls every play, it felt like.
Sends it out very wide to Brazel, who got knocked down short of the line to gain. There's a flag down. 8 yards if it stands. Jeff Heiser talking to the side judge, Glenn Fusick. And he just indicated offensive pass interference.
Pass interference. Offense. Penalty half the distance to go. Replay the down.
Josh Heupel doesn't like it. Saw he and Kalen DeBoer both hail from South Dakota.
And they're looking here at Staley, who just had the touchdown a moment ago. He engages in contact there with the wide receiver, and the wide receiver is a little bit further downfield. So if he's behind the line of scrimmage, you can do something like that. But because he's a little bit beyond that initiation of contact before they catch it, you cannot initiate that contact before.
Matt Austin concurred that it was a good call. It brings the ball back to the 9-yard line. 2nd down and 19 midway through the 2nd quarter. Aguilar stumbles in the end zone. Got rid of the ball. For the moment, it's a free ball. And the officials are marking it down at the 1. And Alabama's in possession of it.
It looked like he didn't get it past the line of scrimmage. He didn't get out the tackle box, and there's no intended receiver in the area. It might be a safety.
Yeah, it's going to be intentional grounding in the end zone and a safety.
Because the foul happened in the event results in a safety.
And just a great rush. It's Yonze Pierre on the right side again, who's just bowling Perry, the right tackle, right into the legs of his quarterback. And Pierre so far has arguably been the best player on the team. That's now 2 sacks and a forced safety here as he walks that big right tackle Perry into the lap of Aguilar.
Unfortunate for Tennessee. Aguilar got tangled up with his right tackle Perry. The offensive line play had been excellent coming in. They lost 4 starters from a year ago. For the new offensive line, coaches were raving about what a good job they've done. As we said earlier, they've given up only 4 sacks all year. 8th fewest in the country, tied with Vandy for the fewest in the SEC starting today. And you mentioned Yonze Pierre.
Number 7 is now number 4.
Quay Rousseau injured. Jamarian Latham injured. And for the most part, Pierre was waiting behind them. We talked to the coaches 2 weeks ago. They said, you know what? Pierre's really good.
Yeah.
And this is his first multi-sack game of his career. Redshirt sophomore from Eufaula, Alabama.
First of many. I mean, this young man's got a lot of juice off the edge and has the length. I mean, he looks like a prototypical edge rusher that we've seen in crimson and white for a number of years.
So the free kick comes from the 20, Turbeville. And lots Let's hear Brooks from the 15. And he reached the 31-yard line. Tackled by Trey Poteet.
So far for Alabama, the run game really hasn't been there. Jam Miller's averaging just 1 yard per carry. Kevin Riley, his 2 carries have gone for -2. The only guy with anything going on the ground is Ryan Williams, and that was on a big reverse. So at some point, Ryan Grubb is going to have to find some movement up front in the run game to take the pressure off the pass.
Very impressive opening drive, 2 punts since. They shift back into the pistol with Jam Miller behind Ty Simpson. Simpson steps into the throw, caught Jeremy Bernard to the Tennessee 40. Second catch of the day for their leading receiver for the year, Bernard.
And this is a really decisive throw here from Ty Simpson. Off play action, big dagger concept, and Bernard working underneath the linebacker T-Lander, and the ball is perfectly on target. We told you in the open that Ty Simpson's among the best quarterbacks in college football, working the middle of the field, particularly between the hashes, and the Simpson family, his dad Jason, loving what they just saw.
And Graham sure looks an awful lot like his older brother Ty.
Are we sure that that's not Ty and Graham's actually playing? Do we know that for sure?
Here comes a blitz. Simpson too high, happy just to get rid of it, with Caleb Herring putting the pressure on. Bernard couldn't rescue the throw.
I think Tim Banks does a really good job defensively for Tennessee. I mean, he really doesn't blitz a ton. I mean, you would think a guy that's that aggressive, the blitz numbers are not outrageous, but they always seemingly come at very good times. That was a well-timed blitz and a well-executed play.
And they got dealt a very tough hand when they lost Jamad McCoy and Ricky Gibson, who could have been their starting corners. McCoy, a preseason All-American, got hurt in the preseason. Man wide open, Brooks out of bounds. Had he been able to stay in bounds, he might have taken it all the way. But the throw took him across the boundary at the 16 after a 25-yard completion.
And a great job, too, by Brooks, running through the contact of the underneath defender and finding that open zone.
Brian Williams went in motion. Design run for Simpson, who was considered a dual threat quarterback coming out of high school in the class of 2022 from Martin, Tennessee. Boo Carter made the tackle. Matter of fact, he was the #2 ranked dual threat quarterback in that class, behind only Cade Klubnik, who went to Clemson. He grew up in Tennessee, surrounded by volunteer fans, was heavily recruited by the Vols, said they were really the runner-up when he had to make his decision where to go, and he chose Alabama. Simpson caught. Good hands catch by Ryan Williams. First and goal, Bama at the 2. 14 more on the throw by Simpson.
Another really nicely timed throw by Ty Simpson, and throwing Ryan Williams away from the outside defender and finding some more grass.
3 catches, 64 for Williams after he was shut out last week at Mizzou. Jam Miller inside the 1-yard line. Simpson's velocity looks fast even in slow motion replays.
He can really rip the ball, man, and that's something I don't think a lot of people knew about. I mean, knew he had a lot of talent, but the velocity on the ball is something that's kind of blown everybody away, and I think a lot of it has to do with the confidence that he's playing with. When he releases the ball, he knows where it's going, so he can put a lot of juice on it every time he throws.
There's his mom, Julie, looking on anxiously. Second and goal. Simpson under center. Cuevas the move man. The pitch back to Miller for a walk-in touchdown. 15-7. 69 yards after the free kick. Following the safety, Connor Talty adds the extra points. And it's a 9-point tied lead on the second touchdown of the year for Jam Miller. He missed the first 3 games of the season due to a collarbone injury.
And this is just a great design by Ryan Grubb. Look at this motion, how it has a little bit of an impact on those Tennessee defenders. Watch them slide just ever so slightly to their left, which allows Caden Proctor, the tackle, to get outside, jump leverage. There's nothing but green grass for Jam Miller for another score.
The Simpson family. They're one big happy family. They're just not sitting together because Graham's with the recruits. And Mom is sitting in her seats.
Yeah, if you're sitting with the recruits, you get a free meal. I think that makes perfect sense, right?
Kalen DeBoer and the Tide looking for their 6th win in a row. Here's the Talty kickoff. It'll be a touchback. Molly McGrath.
Well, Sean, after that safety, quarterback Joey Aguilar went straight to the injury tent. Athletic training staff took his shoulder pads off in there. And remember, he was dealing with an apparent neck injury. He was still testing the mobility of his neck on the sideline. But he asked for his helmet right away after exiting the tent. Looks like he's trying to play through that discomfort, Sean.
All right, Molly, thank you.
And he's tough as nails, man. I got so much respect for this young man. He's going to fight through anything. Sean referenced already. He's just so blessed and proud to be here after the journey he's had. But if you look at the last drive, one throw was very accurate, one throw was just off the mark. And like a high-powered sports car, you need everything in line to be as accurate as possible. So watch his accuracy here.
They come out with a run, and it works very well. Star Thomas out to the 44 with a 19-yard pickup on his first carry of the night.
This run game for Tennessee is so difficult to defend with the pullers.
Now Aguilar play fake. He pulls it down and runs ahead. And now a flag down on the tackle.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 23, 15-yard penalty, first down.
James Smith.
Remember, as soon as the quarterback goes into a feet-first slide, he becomes protected. So you have to do your very best to stay off him as best you can. That time, James Smith, little late upon arrival. I think it's the correct call.
You'll notice if you watch Tennessee over the years, they don't go consistently at the blistering tempo of years gone by, and that's by design. There's a flag before the snap.
Heupel's going to be irate because the umpire signaled false start when it looked like a defender might have jumped in the neutral zone. I'm sure that's what he's trying to argue right now.
Well, the offense is backing up.
Snap, false start. Offense, number 64. Under the penalty. First down.
Looked like it was number 42, Yanze Pierre. Watch how he kind of steps towards the neutral zone. There he goes, anticipates it, and then that forces the left guard to kind of flinch, and I think you probably could have called the defense there. Fortunate for Bama, they didn't.
Matt Austin agrees with you. Big call, 1st and 15. Mike Matthews to the 40-yard line. Red Morgan there, backup safety for Alabama, sophomore from Phoenix City.
Red Morgan in there. He's the backup Husky that was occupied earlier in the game by Day-Day Jones, but they took advantage of that matchup. Now Red Morgan getting some run there to cover in the slot.
2nd and 11. Braylon Staley's catch gets him to the edge of field goal range. Damani Jackson there, who did not start tonight. He lost the starting job to the freshman, Dijon Lee. The coach has said Jackson would play a lot, be part of their rotation. Here's 3rd down and 7.
So far early in this game, it's been Staley, the slot at the bottom, that's created the biggest problems for Bama's defense.
Ticking down to the 2-minute stoppage. They won't snap it before that.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Two minutes to go in the half. Pierre presence on defense. They have a safety. That's the date on which these two teams have met every year since 1939. Alabama's won the last 10 played here. And they lead this one 16-7 at the 2-minute timeout. 3rd and 10 Tennessee at the tied 36.
Keep an eye on Staley in the slot at the bottom. He's been the biggest problem for Bama's defense so far.
It's a middle screen. And they're short of the first down by 2 yards. The tight end, Miles Kitzelman, who's now played in 2 games for each team in this rivalry. The first 2 at Alabama and the last 2 years for Tennessee.
Please reset the game clock.
It'll be 4th down and 2 and a timeout called. We'll see what Josh Heupel elects to do. I would assume, Greg, that he will go for it, although as we chronicled earlier, they've only gone for 4 4th downs all season, including 1 tonight.
Yeah, but I think at this point you're acknowledging that Alabama's offense is going to be tough to stop throughout the course of the game. They've played well against the run, but the back end remains a bit of a challenge, especially with those wide receivers and the reemergence of Ryan Williams. So I think knowing that 7s are going to win this game, not 3s, I totally endorse going forward here on 4th and 2.
And a compelling game. 2 5-1 teams. Alabama 3-0, not even to the halfway point of the conference schedule, and yet only one other undefeated team in the conference, and that's Texas A&M after Ole Miss went down in that classic at Georgia today. They are going for it on 4th down and 2. From the 31, they are in field goal range. Star Thomas is the running back. On the right hip of Aguilar. Pressure right up the middle. Aguilar got it off. Caught. 1st down. Miles Kitzelman. They came after Aguilar. Plenty of poise to complete the pass.
And a great job by Aguilar, knowing the all-out pressure is coming from Alabama's defense. He knows he can't block them all, so he's got to beat the unblocked defender Deontay Lawson with the throw. He does so accurately, and it's a big 4th down conversion.
Please reset the game clock to 1 minute, 49 seconds. Please set the play clock at 40. We'll start on my signal.
Dane Womack, the defensive coordinator, has to be pleased with what they've done so far. They've held the leading scoring team in the country to just 7 points. With 1:40 to go on the clock, now running again. Left in the half.
No need for Tennessee to be in a huge hurry, especially considering how good Alabama's been stealing points before the half.
Aguilar, and it's broken up. Well played by Red Morgan, who had the coverage on Braylon Staley.
Day-Day Jones struggled early in this game, locking down Braylon Staley, and they sub in Red Morgan. He makes a good break on the slant to break up the pass.
Second and 10. Again, taking their time, making sure they get in the right play in these crucial situations. Star Thomas. The couple, and that's all. Driven back by Nakai Hill-Green. Playing for his 4th school in the last 4 years.
Last time there was a 3rd and long situation, Alabama decided to bring all-out pressure, and you saw Aguilar beat it with the throw. Will they bring the heat again, or will they show blitz and then drop out?
They rush 4, including the linebacker Jefferson. Now Aguilar with some running room, needs the 17, and he got close. Justin Jefferson pursued him. It's 4th down again, and looks to be less than a yard from our vantage point as we look at it from the Progressive Pylon cam.
And really good pursuit there by Justin Jefferson, but it does look very close, probably just a nose of the football shy as he travels out of bounds.
Ruling on the field, there's a runner was stopped short of the line to gain. That play is under further review.
I'm a little surprised that Aguilar at the end of that, knowing how close it was, didn't extend the ball forward. Let's bring in Matt Austin.
Yeah, Sean, this is extremely close. I thought in real time that he had crossed the line. It's where the ball is when he strides across the line of scrimmage. So when the ball crossed the line, probably about a foot short. So this call will probably be upheld.
They might have tried to move it forward, but pushed off balance a bit by Jefferson, which made it impossible for him to put the ball forward. He was just trying to maintain his balance at that point. He is fun to watch. 24-year-old Joey Aguilar. Perhaps you saw the feature on game day. No offers out of high school in the San Francisco Bay Area. Went to City College of San Francisco. He redshirted for a year. 90-minute train ride on the Bay Area Rapid Transit, back and forth every day. Then they didn't have a season in 2020 because of COVID. He thought that might be it for football. He was thinking about becoming a firefighter. Friends and family convinced him to take one more shot at football, so he went to Diablo Valley Community College, a little closer to home. Fared well, wound up at App State, 2 years the starter there. Was going to go to UCLA out of the portal, was at UCLA in fact. Here comes the verdict from Jeff Heiser.
After further review, the runner is short of the line to gain. It will be 4th down.
So he goes to UCLA, thinks he's going to be the starting quarterback. Tennessee has a very nasty divorce with Nico Iamaleava, apparently wanted more money in NIL. Tennessee were not doing that. Maleava goes to UCLA. Now Aguilar doesn't have a starting job. Tennessee needs a quarterback. They knew very little about Joey, but it's a marriage that worked out very well.
And Joey Halsley, the offensive coordinator, said, I talked to everybody that ever worked with them. Everyone could not sing his praises more. They really did their homework, and they got a good one in Aguilar.
Here's another 4th down, 2 for 2 tonight. This is inches. And they hand it off to the tailback for a 1st down, Deshaun Bishop.
Now Tennessee needs to start picking up the pace just a little bit.
That's Jose Aguilar, Joey's dad, here tonight from Antioch, California. And Josh Heupel is using his first timeout. I think he might have wanted a few more seconds back on the clock. Stay tuned for the Capital One halftime report. Kevin and Booger standing by. It's been a very eventful day, particularly here in the SEC.
Such a fun couple of games, man. I mean, just no need to change the channel today. ABC from noon all the way through the night with the Vanderbilt win. What a tremendous job Clark Lee has done. And of course, how about the gutsy performance by Georgia and their offense?
They find a way to win. Won a shootout with Ole Miss today in Athens. So here it's a 9-point lead for Alabama, but Tennessee's on the move. They did put a little bit of time back on the clock. 11th play of the drive for Josh Heupel's team. Joey Halsley, the offensive coordinator, calls the plays with plenty of input from Heupel. Aguilar to the end zone. Incomplete, trying to get it to Brazel. Zabian Brown had the coverage.
This is the part of the field for Tennessee where it does get a little bit difficult. They're a little limited with their playbook because of how much of it works vertical, and quite a bit of contact there on the outside in the attempted jump ball to Brazel.
That is a lot of contact, but not flagged.
What they do have some success with is they fake that run inside, and they get Staley, their outstanding slot receiver, breaking to the inside, but Alabama's countering that with a safety over the top.
They try to surprise them with a run. Deshaun Bishop down to the 5-yard line where the clock's running. They do have 2 timeouts. Josh Heupel electing not to use one here. 8-yard gain, 3rd down and 2. They run it again, and now they need to use the timeout as Bishop gets the 1st down. Stopped by Bray Hubbard. 1 timeout left for the Vols with 11 seconds to go in the half. Time to take a look at tonight's playbook, brought to us by Modelo. Alabama's first possession, 91-yard drive in 11 plays. Isaiah Horton, the touchdown pass from Simpson. Staley tied it, and then the safety as Aguilar got his feet tangled up with an offensive lineman. That made it 9-7. Jam Miller touchdown, running the extra point, 16-7. But now it's Tennessee on the move, poised to score and hoping for 7.
And inside the 5-yard line, in every game leading up to this one, Tennessee is 90+% run. Cannot emphasize that stat enough. That is a ridiculous tendency. You do have that timeout, so you have your whole playbook available. No need to throw it by any stretch, so you can run it, burn that timeout if you choose. So I expected them probably to stay with what they've done up to this point by running the football.
13 seconds on the clock now. They try Bishop again. He didn't get there. And now they're going to have to use their last timeout with 9 seconds to go.
3rd and final timeout.
It looked like Bishop, as he was churning forward, he just ran into a brick wall of crimson jerseys. Thought he might have some surge, but the big bodies inside drop him at the 1-yard line. And now for Joey Halsley,
This will be a full 60-second timeout. 60 seconds in length on the timeout.
the offensive coordinator, you almost are forced to pass. You can get 2 plays here, but you're gonna have to go to the air, and you got to remind your quarterback you cannot under any circumstances take a sack in the event in which there's pressure, because a sack ends this half with no points stolen.
Such a well-coached team on offense, highest scoring team in the country in the 5 years under Heupel, with Halsley the offensive coordinator the last few. Changed it up in the off-season, visited with some NFL teams, put some more shifts and motions into their offense to try to free people up to get open. 15th play of the drive. 2nd and goal from the 1.
Heavy personnel looks like in the game for Tennessee. They got Gentle, number 35, at fullback.
3rd and final timeout. Alabama.
Called by Alabama.
30 seconds in length.
So each team out of timeouts in this matchup of 2 South Dakota natives. The only 2 head coaches in FBS out of the 134 from South Dakota. Josh hails from Aberdeen, and Kalen DeBoer about 96 miles away down Highway 12 from Millbank, South Dakota. 2 of the very best coaches in the country.
Just a fascinating game of cat and mouse here between the 2 as well. Kalen taking that timeout a moment ago because it was a run first personnel. They had a bunch of big bodies, very few defensive backs, and the anticipation here from Tennessee is to throw it knowing they have no timeouts remaining.
They line up again in what you would think is a run formation, but it's hard to believe they'd try that, because if they don't score, the half's over. And it's a play action pass, and it's intercepted. Zabian Brown with one man who can catch him. Zabian Brown all the way. Touchdown, Alabama. A shocking turn of events on the final play of the half. Zabian Brown, the sophomore from Santa Ana, California, a 98-yard interception return. And Talty falls down the extra play. There's a little bit of a bobble on the hold. Kane Womack's defense with an enormous play.
From that will be very difficult, but it starts with their defense here.
Alabama will get the ball first on a Josh Turbyville kickoff, which is a touchback.
Time now for our All-State good hands play, and it's the pick six, and it makes no sense. They're in a goal line formation. You got two defensive linemen, a couple tackles, a couple tight ends. That's a run formation. The only time you throw it out of that is to catch him off guard, but there's 9 seconds left. You know that Tennessee is going to throw the football. So the fact that they were in a run-first formation, to me, I think puts Tennessee's offense way behind the clock. And Joey Housley done a great job throughout the first 6 games of this season, but a big mistake there with execution and, frankly, with just a really bad play call.
So Ty Simpson and Alabama on offense. Jan Miller got belted down after a gain of about 2.5. Sean McDonough and Greg McElroy. So what are your biggest thoughts as we begin the second half?
Well, I think for a couple things. One, Tennessee has to stay patient. They got to stay committed to the run game right now. The play action pass will come, but you have to stay committed to the run. And then for Alabama, they got to get their run game going, because there in the first half, there wasn't a lot of opportunities for Jan Miller to kind of create against this front.
Miller dropped for a loss. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, Alabama head coach Kalen DeBoer told me there was great energy in the locker room after that pick six to end the half. He said, we are a better team when our energy is high, and he told his team to hold on to that momentum, stressing the importance of scoring on this first offensive possession. But like Craig said, DeBoer stressed we can be better offensively. We want more domination in the run game. And the message among players in the locker room was, finish this. Don't let them come crawling back. Remember, quarterback Ty Simpson criticized his team for their inability to finish games, guys.
And neither team has run it well. Alabama has just 23 yards rushing, but that's really been the case all season long. Ty Simpson stays on his feet. Didn't get the first down, but did make the 29-yard line. It'll be 4th down and 6 after a 7-yard gain. Jordan Ross made sure Simpson didn't get the first down.
A great opening drive there for Tennessee's defense, and just trying to get some of that momentum back that they were starting to create at the end of the half.
Blake Dowd on to punt for Alabama. Not a very good one. Low and short. Boo Carter taken out of bounds at the 39-yard line by Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. 40-yard punt, 9-yard return. So a good start to the half after the disastrous ending to the first half. A 3-and-out forced by the Tennessee defense. Here comes Aguilar. 14 out of 21. 18 straight games with a touchdown pass now, but the very costly interception that was returned for the score by Alabama.
But he's been in this spot before. He's got 48 career starts at the college level between JUCO and App State and Tennessee. So he's been in the storm before. He can bounce out.
Deshaun Bishop tripped up by Zabian Brown, who had that 99-yard pick six. Brown started every game last year as a freshman. Did have one touchdown last year on a fumble return for a score against Mercer. Aguilar, another play action fake, and a man open over the middle. First down, Tennessee. Braylon Staley to the Alabama 42-yard line, a pickup of 12.
So far, I like the first couple plays for Joey Halsley. Little run inside, get the run game going, get a nice easy completion over the middle for your quarterback.
Aguilar, after the fake, ran out of time. Taken down by James Smith, the junior defensive lineman from Montgomery, Alabama. A loss of 2.
It's not often when you see Aguilar just hesitate. You got to think if that interception at the end of the half might have played into that decision there. He had a guy in the flat, he could have thrown it, he double clutched, and it resulted in a lost yardage play.
Bishop, nice cut. Deshaun Bishop might go the distance. Touchdown, Tennessee. What a run by Bishop, 44 yards. And what a response to that calamity at the end of the first half. A 3-and-out on defense and a quick score when they get the ball back. They're going to go for 2, try to make it a 1-score game. Right now it's 10. A 2-pointer would make it 8. Tight bunch to the right. Go for Dose, brought to us by Dos Equis. Aguilar into the end zone. That's intercepted. Dejon Lee tackled from behind by Mike Matthews. He was thinking about going for Dose in the opposite direction. What a run by Deshaun Bishop. His 6th touch from Saban Field at Bryant-Denny Stadium, or as Greg McElroy calls it, the house that Greg McElroy built.
I can assure you that is not the case for those that took that seriously.
I'm hoping that nobody did. Turbyville, another touchback. It's a 10-point game after the run by Bishop.
And running game's a game of numbers. So you have 3 blockers for 3 guys right side of the center. Plenty of room, and actually see Alabama slide just ever so slightly inside to allow Tennessee to capture the edge. And that's just really poorly done at the second level by the Tide. Bishop makes a couple guys miss. They take a couple poor angles, and he's out the gate. Just a tremendously well blocked at the point of attack, but it's all Bishop once he gets past that first line of defense.
He just about doubled their rushing total for the night. Prior to that touchdown, they had 43 yards rushing on 21 carries. He went 44 for the score. Ty Simpson out to Jeremy Bernard, who's knocked down from behind after an 8-yard gain. Here's Molly.
Well, Ty Simpson was frustrated on the sideline, immediately coming off the field, got in the faces of his offensive linemen, clapping and yelling loudly, saying, hey, get your head back in the game. Calm down. We cannot afford to let them back in this. And the coach's son sounding a lot like a coach down here, guys.
Well, he didn't like that even though they wanted Georgia, they were shut out in the second half. Ty was frustrated after the game last week at Missouri. They held the ball for over 38 minutes, but had just 27 points. He thought there was more there, so he wants to keep his foot on the accelerator with his dad and brother watching.
I think this is a big third down for Alabama. 3-and-out on the first drive, possibility for 3-and-out here on the second drive. And here, 3rd down and 2 or so. They love to utilize these bunch formations. Could also motion the back end of the backfield, but Ryan Williams has been the go-to guy in the passing game today.
He has 3 catches for 64 yards. The deep and talented receiver group. This is Jeremy Bernard. Spins away. 1st down, out of bounds, just shy of midfield. Chased out by Andre Turrentine.
That's a great job by Ty Simpson, recognizing the man coverage against Boo Carter with his best, most reliable wide receiver in Jeremy Bernard. Wins on the out route quickly. Accurate throw for the conversion.
Bernard very nearly didn't come back for his final season of college football. He thought long and hard about going to the NFL draft after he was Alabama's leading receiver last year. A conversation with Ty Simpson helped convince him to stay. Ty trying to set up a screen. It's batted down. Knocked down by Edwin Spillman, who did not play in the first half tonight because of a targeting ejection in the second half of their win against Arkansas last week.
And that was really nearly intercepted too, because it looked like Spillman got both hands on it and the freshman almost reeled it in. That would have been a heck of a play.
Second and 10. Bernard, the motion man. Gave them 3 receivers to the right. Simpson looked in that direction. Nice diving catch made by Ryan Williams, just shy of the 1st down by about a yard.
Man, that was a heck of a catch too. One of the rare off-target throws by Ty Simpson. Did Williams go down and reel it in? Looks like he did. That was a tremendous catch.
For a 9-yard gain. Crowd doesn't like the center judge standing over the ball, but Tennessee had to be given a chance to substitute because Alabama did. 3rd down and 1. And the 1st down picked up by Jam Miller.
With this drive marching the way it is, this is kind of the area of the field where you might be thinking a little pressure with the momentum that Bama's starting to create offensively. But also, if I'm Ryan Grubb, this is the spot where I want to take that shot. Hard play action. See if you can throw it over the top to Ryan Williams.
Cuevas resets to the right as Simpson goes under center with Miller, the running back. Williams in motion, and that pass is batted down. Knocked down by Nathan Robinson.
Looked like there, Bama was anticipating that pressure that we just talked about. And what beats pressure? Screen game, but a good play by Robinson, going up, getting vertical, and not allowing Simpson to negotiate a window.
Robinson, a big man, back up in that defensive line, 6'6", 300-pounder.
You got man coverage right now being shown by Tennessee. Press coverage as well, so if you want to take a shot against press coverage, it'd be a time to do it.
Daniel Hill is in at running back, their 3rd-string running back. Simpson, a quick pop, incomplete. Well defended by Colton Hood, a transfer from Colorado, who's been a godsend for Tim Banks, especially with the injuries to Gibson and McCoy. Coach Banks said Hood's done a nice job. Played at Colorado last year. Played at Auburn the year before that.
Here's a spot on the field where it's possible 4-down territory for Ryan Grubb. Nowhere near field goal range, but if you can get 6 or 7 here, you might get the green light to go for it.
Two for 2 on 3rd down in this drive. Simpson surrounded. Ball pops up in the air. No whistles yet. That's a live ball, at least for the moment. And it looked like Joshua Josephs has it for Tennessee, and it's volunteer ball. Ruled a fumble. Most of the players seem to think it was an incomplete forward pass, but there was no whistle. And at least for the moment, to the dismay of Kalen DeBoer, it's Tennessee ball near midfield.
It looked like it was Jordan Ross coming around the left side with Caden Proctor trying to get a hand on it. As Ty Simpson's pulling it, looks like there the hand does look like it's moving forward. He does collision the left shoulder of Proctor. I still think he had control as that hand began that move towards the line of scrimmage.
Well, Simpson was aware of it immediately. He started after the ball. Actually, then he stopped. Yeah, he did hit, it appeared, the shoulder of Caden Proctor, his own tackle. The officials still conferring. And a lot of the players not aware that that was a free ball. Simpson went diving for it, but didn't possess it. And Josephs got it back. If it stands, it's just the third turnover of the season committed by Alabama. And after the conversation, the officials are saying volunteer football. Let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, what do you think? Clearly a fumble?
I think it is a fumble. I don't think he has firm control when that hand starts forward. I don't know if it hit his own player, but it looked like as his hand came forward, that ball was already popping up the top of his hand.
Did look like the nose of the football as he stretched it back to release the ball. He did hit his own player, Caden Proctor. And then it's whether or not the firm control was there as he followed through. And I'm kind of with you, Matt, the way it came out of his hand.
And just the third turnover committed by Alabama this season. Mike Matthews, the intended receiver, the pass from Joey Aguilar. Alabama started the night in third in the country in fewest turnovers. Only Temple and UConn had committed fewer, one each. The momentum has turned against Kalen DeBoer and the Crimson Tide. A touchdown for Tennessee here in the third quarter, and now a takeaway. Their 12th forced fumble of the season. They started the day tied with Houston for the most in the country. Here's Bishop again. That's been a problem for Alabama several times this year, getting gashed in the running game for long runs by the opposition. And that's 18 more for Bishop on the heels of his 44-yard touchdown. Nothing doing there on the throw out wide to Staley. But Dijon Lee right there for Alabama. Actually a loss of a yard.
Starting to look now on these last couple possessions for Tennessee. That offensive line that's been so good this year is starting to resemble themselves. They're one at the line of scrimmage there on that last nice run by Bishop, and did so again earlier on the touchdown.
The ball is free, and Aguilar had to pounce on it. The timing of the snap was off. And the Big Orange offense caught off guard. Sam Pendleton, the center, snapped it when the rest of his mates weren't expecting it.
And that was the only guy that was anticipating a snap, was the center. So big missed opportunity and a mistake there by Tennessee.
8-yard loss. Pendleton's had a nice year, transferred from Notre Dame, replaced the All-American Cooper Mays at center for Tennessee. Aguilar off the hands of Mike Matthews. A couple of yards short of the first down marker. So the missed time snap, huge. It stalls the drive.
And this is a well-thrown ball by Aguilar. It's a little to the inside, but this one on a 3rd and long, the receiver Matthews absolutely has to bring in. And this has been a team in Tennessee that has dropped 21 passes coming into this game. That is 135th in college football. The only team that's been worse has been App State.
Aguilar's former team. Jackson Ross, who can punt with either foot, punts that one down inside the 5. Took a beautiful bounce, and it'll be down at the 1 by William Wright. Perfectly done by Ross. Big drop by Matthews. A 10-point game. 5:51 to go, third quarter. Ball. Saban saying game day this morning, underrated rivalry nationally, but Not for these two programs and their fan bases. Alabama with the lead. Not much going on so far in the second half on offense for the Tide. And now they start from the 1.
One thing you usually do here when you're backed up is you utilize a hard count. Try to get that defense to jump off sides. That way it'll give you a free 5 yards, and if you jump off sides, you lose half a yard. So the risk absolutely outweighs the reward outweighs the risk.
You're in the pistol. Miller's about 7 yards deep in the end zone. Wouldn't expect a handoff that deep from their 1 yard line. It's a quick pop to Ryan Williams. He's had a very good night after not having a catch for the only time in his career last week at Missouri. 16 yards on his 5th catch of the night for 87 yards for the game.
He's also the team's leading rusher, and he's the only guy for Alabama that has double digits in rush yards, which that 1 carry on the reverse for 16 yards.
Well, they haven't run the ball well all year, and they haven't again tonight. 26 yards. But they're 5-1. They're number 6 in the country. They have a 10-point lead against the 11th ranked team in the country. Ryan Grubb is the offensive coordinator. 5-yard gain there for Jam Miller. Miller again. He's going to come up a couple of yards short of the first down marker. Jalen McMurray there. And we're down to 4:39 in the clock running in the 3rd quarter.
Alabama here, they can go with some type of check with me. If you have 2 high safeties, you can run the ball, but with 1 high safety, you would be thinking pass. There's the check right there. It makes the audible and adjustment. Now let's see if they throw it.
Simpson sent Miller in motion wide to the right. They're looking to the sideline for guidance. They're running out of time, and Kalen DeBoer runs down to call a timeout.
First charge timeout. Alabama. Media.
4:06 to go, 3rd quarter. We're in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Only one student section can claim the title of Liv Moss Student Section of the Year. Who'll take home the trophy? I'd say they can make a strong case here at Alabama.
Pretty good student section.
Yeah, very vocal. School with more than 42,000 students. 3rd down and 2. The Tide wide open over the middle. Josh Cuevas. First down out to the 39-yard line. Arion Carter made the tackle. 16 yards on the completion to Cuevas.
And it's a great job by Ty Simpson recognizing this dropout. Looks like pressure, thinking pressure, but it's laid off the right. You can beat it with the throw to Cuevas right over the middle. That was well executed by the quarterback.
Jaden Roberts limps off. He's been injured part of the year. He moved into the starting lineup at right guard tonight. Meanwhile, Aguilar's been in discomfort for a lot of the night since he injured his neck. He's been getting treatment. That's a backward pass, probably a double pass. Bernard wanted to throw it back to Simpson. Did well. He's still going. Looked like that play was dead. And Jeremy Bernard took it all the way to the 44-yard line for a 17-yard play.
What a play by Jeremy Bernard. I mean, that play is dead to rights. Loss of 15. I mean, that thing is all the way back at the 25-yard line. Doesn't like it. Makes a good decision. And a guy that played a lot of quarterback in high school showed you the decision-making right there and the explosiveness with the ball in his hands.
Very well defended by Tennessee. They anticipated the throw back to Simpson. And they still turned it into a positive play.
Snap infraction. Offense. Number 72. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And we talked about it earlier. Jeremy Bernard was thinking about not coming back, and he had a conversation with Ty Simpson in the offseason. Ty said, you should come back. You were at Washington. Remember when Roma Dunze came back and McMillan and Polk? And, Dunze was a high first-round pick. Bernard said, yeah, but they had Michael Penix. Simpson sets up a screen to Daniel Hill. Hurdling tacklers, and he has a first down before he's shoved out by Edwin Spillman. And that was intended to be humorous by Bernard. He told us yesterday one of the biggest reasons he came back was he knew Ty Simpson was going to have a great year.
And it's amazing, too, to watch what Jeremy Bernard has become. At Washington, utilized as kind of a gadget player, and he's developed so beautifully a wide receiver. This wide receiver staff, Jamarcus Shepard, one of the best in the country, and man, he has really turned into a well-rounded weapon on the outside.
And he probably had it in him when he was at Washington, just behind Dunze and Polk and McMillan. Hill again getting some run here in the second half. They're showing a good leaping ability. Idris Farouk finally made the stop. 5-yard gain for Hill, sophomore from Meridian, Mississippi.
And it's good to get him back, too. I mean, he is big at 244 pounds, and I'm telling you, he is a bowling ball. And to get him down in the open field, if you can get him engaged with the defensive back in one-on-one, that's bad news Bears if you're a defender.
Bernard, after the interesting motion, breaks tackles and goes down near the 10. Jeremy Bernard's been the man of this drive for Alabama. 17 yards on that play.
And a good decision here, too, by Ty Simpson. He sees some flow to the inside, stopping the run. He flips it out to Bernard, who continues to be highly impressive after the catch with another great run.
There's an injured Vol on the play.
How about this drive from Alabama now? 8 plays, 88 yards, just when it felt like momentum was starting to drift in the other direction after the turnover and a couple of tough offensive drives. They've kind of flipped this thing on its head after starting this thing at the 1-yard line.
Jeremy Bernard, as you mentioned, quarterback in high school from Las Vegas, was committed for a couple of years to go to Washington. They had the coaching change there. Kalen DeBoer comes in. Bernard's going to Washington at mid-year, right after Christmas, and he decommitted. Junior Adams was a holdover on the previous coaching staff, the wide receiver coach. He decided at the last minute to go to Oregon. So Bernard's like, okay, I don't really know any of these coaches now. He goes to Michigan State, wanted to go back to Washington. Kalen DeBoer opened the door for him, and he had a very nice season at Washington. Transferred here with Kalen DeBoer and Ryan Grubb last year. And how about what Kalen DeBoer said about him? That he's such a special young man. He said, I've never had a recruiting visit like I've had with Jeremy Bernard.
Yeah, he said, quote unquote, literally one of my favorite recruits ever. And I think it's amazing too. Kalen said, yeah, we were disappointed to lose him, and then we got the chance to play Michigan State and beat them badly, which I think might have opened his eyes to the possibility of coming back. And what a fit it's been with how he's been utilized these last couple of years with the staff.
Came back as well to get a degree. That was very important to his family and to Jeremy. He'll graduate in December in sport management. 1st and 10 from just outside the 10. Down to the goal line. Touchdown, Rico Scott. His first catch of the night, just his 8th of the season in this deep receiver group. And it's 29-13 for Alabama in the final seconds of the 3rd quarter.
What a drive. I mean, just absolutely unbelievable. Taking 5.5 minutes off the clock, going 99 yards, and just making a statement. Very, very impressive there from the Tide's offense.
Second touchdown throw of the night for Simpson. Now 18 for the year and just 1 interception. Extra point good by Connor Talty.
We used to always say, be an actor, not a tractor. All right. I want you to watch this. You get some motion up front. You're going to get Ty Simpson booting out. Watch Rico Scott. Look at that. Oh, that's, I think, is that actor or tractor right there? Just kind of fake that block just for a half second. Not the best. That's not winning an Academy Award. All right, but he's wide open and gets the Tennessee defenders to look inside just enough for him to jump leverage. And a good finish on the run to find pay dirt.
Tough at the end of it, helped by some pretty shaky tackling for Tennessee.
It looked like it was Redmond, the freshman, who just couldn't get him out of bounds from the progressive pylon cam.
Julie Simpson loves it. And so did Dad Jason, brother Graham. And Ty, he's hard on himself, on his teammates. He's become quite a vocal leader, and it's genuine. You know, and the coaches for Tennessee said the same thing about Aguilar. You know, they're not afraid to get up in front of the team because their sincerity rings true. And as I've said to you many times, the most important thing in life is sincerity. And as soon as you learn how to fake that, you're all set. I know they are two sincerely impressive young men who have become great leaders of their respective teams. Yeah, Aguilar and Simpson.
And the thing about Aguilar, more impressively, Ty had 4 years to get to know his teammates. The fact that Aguilar got there in June and walked into a pretty turbulent situation and was able to endear himself to the roster says a lot about that young man's character.
Yep. Coach said he made a great effort. Took position groups to dinner regularly as soon as he got there. Braylon Staley the catch, and not much after the catch. And it was a competition. They have a couple of other very good quarterbacks they're high on. The backup right now is Jake Marklinger. It was really a battle between the two of them right down to the end of training camp before Aguilar was named the starter. Deshaun Bishop for very little on the final play of the third quarter.
This is the end of the third quarter.
Alabama trying to make history, beat a ranked opponent for the 4th game in a row. And they have a 17-point lead as we head to the 4th.
And then going 99 yards. So, again, we're a resilient team. We got to do a better job at not putting ourselves in that spot. Got a whole quarter to play.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
First play of the 4th quarter, 3rd down and 4, Tennessee down by 17 points, and Kitzelman can't catch the ball. That would have been a first down. Well, Kalen DeBoer said yesterday one of the things he likes about his team, unlike last year, this team has responded time and time again. They were helped on that drop by Kitzelman.
Yeah, that's not 2 massive drops by Tennessee weapons on critical 3rd downs.
They're going to go for it on 4th and 4 from their own 31. Down by 3 scores, have to have it. Pierre brought pressure from the inside on a twist. Aguilar on target, caught for a first down. Mike Matthews for 13 on 4th and 4.
Very nice job there by Joey Aguilar, buying time, allowing the scramble drill to uncover, and Matthews securing the catch.
4 for 4 on 4th down tonight, 7 for 7 for the season. Fire the balls. 14 and a half to go. On target. Down on his knees with the catch is Brazel, his first catch since 3.5 minutes remained in the first quarter. He had 3 catches early, but he's been absent from their attack for a while. That one's good for 12.
Given the challenges that Tennessee's defense has had at times tonight, would expect Tennessee to maybe pick up the pace a little bit as this drive continues on.
Aguilar forced back. Kalen DeBoer screaming for a holding call, and it did look like there was a hold by Lance Hurd, the tackle, who got away with it. The play winds up being a 1-yard rush for Aguilar. Yeah, I think he has a point there.
You watch the left tackle. It looked like the defender started to kind of lose a little bit. Might have been on the other side as well.
I think he could have had it on either end. Bishop, another big run. And the tackling has been poor on both sides for much of this game. Keon Sabb finally made the stop. He's hobbling at the end of the play. Broke his foot in the game at Tennessee last year. Missed the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's something you got to keep an eye on. This is not good here. Bishop a little banged up last week. Now he's down again, and man, he is a great weapon for this offense.
Back-to-back 100-yard games for Deshaun Bishop. That 22-yard run gets him to 111 on just 11 carries. He had a career-high 146 last week against Arkansas, despite the fact he didn't play in the fourth quarter. He got rolled up on late in the third quarter, didn't play the rest of the game. Crowd booing even louder now as Bishop bounces up and runs right off the field. They think that was not a real injury.
Man, he just runs through contact. Low center of gravity, great balance, and you see Sabb, who just got too close to the line of scrimmage, and that's been a bit of a problem for this Alabama secondary this year. They get too close to the line of scrimmage, and all of a sudden they lose their angles, and when they back up and see it a little bit better, they've been much more secure at tackling in the run game.
First and 10. 4 sacks tonight for Bama, matching the total that Tennessee had yielded the entire year through the first 6 games. Star Thomas in for Bishop. 6-yard gain. He gets stopped by Bray Hubbard, the hard-hitting safety.
And this is the spot on the field, especially in second and medium, where Tennessee has a heavy lean from a tendency standpoint towards the pass.
Aguilar not on the same page with his intended receiver Staley.
Third down. It's normally for Tennessee looking in the direction of Kitzelman. He's not in the ball game right now. It's actually Jack Van Dorselaar, number 3, who's lined up at the top. Slots are where you want to work in this offense. If you can get a matchup in the slot that you like, and I like this one with the safety on the bottom against Staley.
They bring pressure, and the throw got off by Aguilar, and it's caught along the near sideline by Staley with Bray Hubbard there. 3-yard gain and not a first down.
It looked like got tipped there too, and tremendous hands of concentration by Staley. Set up another 4th down for Tennessee. With heavy personnel coming in the game, 2 tight ends anticipating a run here on 4th and short.
Already converted a 4th and 4 from their own territory. So he'll take a look at it. Did he get the first down? So Tennessee on the move, down by 17. 11th play of the drive started from their own 25.
Bama showing some pressure there, getting Aguilar to check, and then they drop out. See if he checks back into it. Anticipate pass here.
Bishop banged down inside the 5 by Justin Jefferson, the leading tackler on the year for Alabama's defense. Bishop again got the first down, struggling to try to get the touchdown. Ray Hubbard trying to rip it away. Jefferson another tackle. 1st and goal Vols.
Last time they tried to throw it inside the 1. I'm not anticipating that anymore, Sean. What do you think?
Well, Bishop's the hot hand, and he's down to the goal line. Touchdown, Tennessee. ...123 yards rushing for Bishop and 2 touchdowns. I think it might not be running back by committee anymore for the Vols with his emergence these last couple of weeks.
I don't think it should be, that's for sure, man. He runs so hard, and for a guy that's not overly big, man, he is so difficult to bring down.
Listed 5'10", 208. Max Gilbert for the extra point. $13-play, 75-yard drive. They took 4:34 off the clock. And a couple of fourth down conversions, and Gilbert the extra point. There is a flag down.
Subaru.
Dr. Pepper brings us these numbers. A couple of 99s for Alabama tonight. Sabian Brown, a 99-yard interception return for a touchdown on the last play of the first half. It gave them a 16-point lead at halftime for Kalen DeBoer. And then a 99-yard touchdown drive, first for Alabama since 2021 against Miami. And Tennessee has just scored. Sean Bishop, a multiple touchdown night. And a 100-yard rushing game. It's his third career 2 TD game. First in an SEC contest. Had one earlier in the year against UAB. Who's bringing the heat is brought to you by Sonic.
Well, it starts with a big pick six by Alabama to cap off what was a wild first half swing, and Bishop answered. First drive for Tennessee cuts it to a 10-point lead after a big run to open things up, and Alabama answers again with a 99-yard touchdown drive that you just referenced. Tennessee answers again to make it a 10-point lead again. So massive moment here for Tennessee's defense. Have to find a way to get off the field. They've stopped the run. But will Kalen DeBoer in this offense, will they be slightly more aggressive, maybe lean towards the air and trust Ty Simpson?
They're still a 2-score lead, but it's hard for them to run out the clock because they don't have an effective running game. Just 74 yards tonight. And nothing doing for Kevin Riley on first down. Nathan Robinson made the tackle.
So far, if you look at the run game for Alabama, you referenced the yardage, but really it's kind of been on broken plays. You had one reverse by Ryan Williams for 16. Jeremy Bernard's got 3 for 40, but one of those was a broken play that he just made a ridiculous move and made something out of nothing. So traditional run game's been non-existent for the Tide.
Well, we talked to Kalen DeBoer yesterday. He said, we've been a good team, we're not a great team. He's hoping that they're trending in the right direction. But clearly some things to improve upon. The run game is a big one. Simpson running out of time, throws it away. Pressured by Joshua Josephs, the outstanding defensive end / outside linebacker out of Kennesaw, Georgia, who they thought had a really good year last year. Was just overshadowed a bit by James Pierce, who wound up being a first-round NFL draft pick.
This is where these pass rushers have to feast too. 3rd and long situation. Joseph's got an 82-inch wingspan. He's going to be working against the right tackle Formby, who's had some challenges in pass pro.
Simpson given a clean pocket down the sideline, and a flag thrown. They grabbed a hold of Ryan Williams, and it's too bad for Tennessee because I don't think that was going to be completed.
Pass interference, defense, number 8.
And Colton Hood
First down.
yanked at the uniform of Williams and got flagged for it.
Yeah, and it was pretty good call. A lot of contact. You see the right hand up around the collar of Ryan Williams, but just like you said, Sean, kind of unnecessary. It looked like that ball was going to be way too far, but resistance led to it being the correct call.
Yeah, it was going to be way too far because he actually held him for quite a while, not just at the end. So a huge penalty. Ryan Williams has had a very good night. If we mentioned tonight, he's only 18 years old, sophomore.
He was 17 last year.
He was 17 all last year. He's going to be 18 this entire season.
Wow.
He'll be 19 next season.
No way.
It's kind of the progression. He stays on course. Here's Daniel Hill. He's given them a little bit of a spark at the running back position. Colton Hood, another tackle, very near the first down. And they have signaled first down for Alabama. 10 yards on the run for Hill.
This is exactly when you want a back like Hill. I mean, a guy that's 245 pounds, as fatigue starts to set in for the defense. Those big body backs, those guys are what we called closers. They come in and they close you out because they're so difficult to bring down. The fatigued bodies, you can drag them a little bit after the contact.
Simpson steps into the throw, going deep for Brooks. Flag down. Couple of flags down. William Wright's going to be called for pass interference.
Pass interference. Defense, number 0. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
There is nothing more difficult on a defender than a slightly underthrown deep ball. As you can see, Brooks trying to work back to it. The defender never turns around, and William Wright, it's an easy call for the official.
A couple of big penalties against Heupel's defensive backs. Alabama's moved to the 35-yard line. Jeremy Bernard bounces off a hit. Got pinballed down at the 32. Pickup of 3. Spillman limping a little bit after he was involved in the collision at the end of the play. Alabama leading by 10. Trying to make it 4 straight wins against ranked opponents. Maybe just the 4th team in SEC history to do that. Win 4 consecutive games, all against ranked opponents. Tough run by Hill. The crowd loves it. They've been trying to spur on more out of the running game. That's 13 yards for Hill.
And that was probably the best this offensive line has moved this defensive line all game long. The right tackle, Wilkin Formby, just moving and displacing a defensive end. And Cuevas and looked like Rico Scott got in the mix as well. And this is what we talked about a moment ago. Those big backs just seemingly always fall forward in the 4th quarter.
Bernard. Again, the tackling's been a little shaky. He got banged out of bounds at the 10 by Sidney Walton. They're a yard short of a first down. 2nd and 1. More than midway through the 4th quarter now. Alabama all time when leading by 17 or more after 3 quarters is 446-0. Daunting history facing the Vols. Hill tackled around the leg by Jackson Moy, transferred from Stanford from Oceanside, California.
See the defenders. You read body language as an offense, and now they'll get some fresh bodies in there, desperately needed too, because hands were on the hips of every single member of the front 7 defensively for Tennessee.
That was a big play, and this is a big play. 3rd down and 2. Tennessee would love to force a field goal try. It's possible Kalen DeBoer would go for a 4th down. Hill remains the running back. Simpson faked it to him. Tries to jam it to Cuevas, and it's incomplete. And Kalen DeBoer irate with Simpson, ordinarily such a good decision maker. He was very fortunate to get away with that.
Way too greedy. I mean, you look back inside, but you have Jeremy Bernard in the right flat. If you just keep your eyes where they're supposed to be, you got a 1st and 10. Instead, he looks back inside where all the trouble is, and it's nearly intercepted.
Well, they're going to go for this 4th and 2. Field goal would make it a 13-point game. Still 2 scores. Their first 4th down try tonight. Four-man rush, plenty of time for Simpson. Takes it down and running, and it looks like he got there, and then he got hit late out of bounds. Jeremiah Thielander.
First down after the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 22. Penalties have permission to the goal. First down.
What a play by Simpson. I mean, he's working right there against Eric Carter. Carter's one of the best linebackers in the SEC. He has him behind the line of scrimmage. If Carter makes that play, it's ball game for that play, and it's going the other way. Simpson makes a miss, and Thielander loses track of where he's at, and the pylon can shows you Simpson clearly out of bounds, way out of bounds. It gets hit late for some extra yardage.
3 big penalties on the Tennessee defense on this drive. Under 6 minutes to go. Hill, touchdown, Tide. Simpson got away with a big mistake, atoned for it immediately. They're just narrowly picking up the first down. Penalty tacked on, the extra point good by Talty. It's back to a 17-point lead for Bama.
And another big drive.
They've knocked off Georgia, Vanderbilt, and Missouri, trying to take down Tennessee tonight. The all-time mark is 5. They're not going to have a chance to do that because they go to South Carolina next week, and the Gamecocks are not going to be ranked. You can smell cigar smoke in the air here now. That young man is not the only one who has lit up a stogie. One of the traditions in this rivalry back to 1961. We're told R&R Cigars sold 10,000 cigars this week. 10,000 cigars.
Wow.
This week here in Tuscaloosa. Look at the cigar smoke.
So you're telling me dinner's on Reagan tonight?
Yes. Connor Talty. Fair catch made by Lewis. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, let's go to Lexington. We got overtime. Kentucky stopped on 4th and goal here at the 1. Texas gets the ball, the chance to respond, and Mason Shipley 45 yards out. 16-13 Longhorns, who had 179 total yards of offense. Notre Dame right now at the moment in South Bend up by 10 over USC late in the 4th quarter. Back to you guys.
And that's a huge win for Texas, with now just still one conference loss in what seems to be a wide open Southeastern Conference race. Son Brame, the backup tight end, for a 10-yard gain. Texas A&M won tonight. They are the only undefeated team left overall among the Southeastern Conference teams. They're 7-0. Aguilar under duress, throws incomplete, intended for Brame. And they're obviously still undefeated, are the Aggies in Southeastern Conference play. If Alabama wins this one, and it seems they will be the only other team undefeated in league play. They'll go to 4-0. Halfway through, we have just 2 undefeated teams in conference play.
The margins are outrageous. I mean, you talk to all the coaches across the league, and they just tell you, man, hey, what's this game coming down to? Well, there isn't much of a talent advantage like there once was, so we better execute. And my goodness, it's showing up each and every Saturday.
Star Thomas, the running back, he went out in the flat. Joey Aguilar sets and fires a good throw for a first down to the Bama 45. A 20-yard completion to Braylon Staley.
And I remain impressed with Joey Aguilar and his toughness tonight, man. That neck, you know that neck is hurting him. It has to be. And he's still battling all the way through.
Looks around, has a man on the far sideline, another first down. Chris Brazel, they're going very quickly. 19 yards. One of the things you wonder about, and obviously we've seen it tonight, they're playing at a much slower pace than they usually do. But no depth at wide receiver. You know, it's really hard to play at that blistering pace when you have the same 3 receivers playing every down. That one's a drop by Brame. They had a couple of key injuries to freshman receivers who they thought would be a factor. Travis Smith, Rodarius Jackson. So almost all of the snaps are Matthews, Staley, and Brazel at wide receiver.
And I think they are hopeful at some point here in the future that you're going to have more availability there. But as you can see, more than 80% of the reps, and it's a vertical offense too. It's not like these guys are running 3-yard routes. I mean, these guys are taking the top off. So I'd love to know how far they run in a given game.
Much less than in previous years. Here's an Alabama blitz, well blocked. Aguilar throws, incomplete, flag down for a pass interference call against Xavier Mincy. And all of a sudden, Brame has become a frequent target. True freshman out of Derby, Kansas. Deshaun Brame.
Pass interference. Defense. The ball be placed at the spot of the foul. First down. The foul is on number 12.
It does look like he kind of wraps up the wide receiver as he's getting ready to come in, and Mincy,
no question,
arrive early, right hand around the belly, and the correct call made by the officials.
Four and a half minutes to go. A nice drive, and they're doing it quickly. But they have a tremendous amount of work to do. They've moved the ball 60 yards in just a minute and 19 on this drive. Star Thomas, the running back. Transfer from Duke. That ball's batted, still caught. Might have been better than it wasn't. Brazel caught it, and then he got flattened by Damani Jackson for a 4-yard loss.
Kane Womack there bringing the house, and Tennessee's quick outlet was deflected immediately. Let's see if they decide to show that pressure look again or if they'll play off, and it's looking like they'll play off.
Aguilar to the end zone, incomplete, behind his intended target Staley, with Bray Hubbard in coverage. Hubbard was going to go to Southern Miss to play baseball, and he delivered the hit after the ball was gone. Zab was there as well. Then he got a call from Nick Saban's staff. Why don't you come up? We'd like to take a look at you. And we got offered a scholarship to play football at Alabama. That was the end of the baseball career. As an outfielder, he said that skill set helps track a ball as a defensive back, just like you'd be tracking a fly ball in the outfield. Aguilar to the boundary. Brazel dropped by Jackson, who's woofing a little bit, it seems, at Brazel. Here's a 4th down. Perfect for the season on 4th down. If they have any chance at all here tonight, this is another one they have to have with 11 to go.
And in theory, they could take the field goal here. It's a 17-point game. You still need 2 touchdowns. Still a 3-possession game, but opting to keep their offense on the field.
Clock is running. They let it get all the way down to about 8 on the play clock and then called a timeout.
30 seconds.
Let's take a look at the college football rankings this week, brought to us by Capital One. There are going to be some significant changes. Starting with Miami, the loser to Louisville at home last night. 4 interceptions for Carson Beck. Jeff Brom can coach, and his staff outstanding as well. Georgia, dramatic winner today at home against Ole Miss. First loss of the year for the Rebels.
I think Ole Miss is still pretty good. And while I think Georgia and Ole Miss, there were some vulnerabilities shown on defense, but both those teams offensively showed us an awful lot today.
I think the 10,000 cigars, that might be low based on what we're looking at and smelling around Bryant-Denny Stadium right now. Fourth down and 11. Last call for Tennessee. They'll wait as Kalen DeBoer calls the timeout. How about what Ty Simpson told us about the cigars yesterday? He mentioned he grew up in Tennessee, in Martin, Tennessee, northwest corner of the state, which he told us is actually closer to Tuscaloosa, about 4.5-hour drive, than it is to Knoxville, 5.5 hours away. But he said when he was a kid and Tennessee would beat Alabama, like his 12-year-old friends would be smoking cigars running around the lovely hamlet of Martin, Tennessee.
You got to lean in. It just means more down here.
Where are the parents?
I don't know. I can't answer that. But that's not surprised that people are excited about it.
Ty Simpson, we mentioned, recruited by Tennessee, but there was right when that coaching change to Josh Heupel was happening, so it was a little too late. Decided to come to Alabama. His mom so emotional after that win at Georgia, as he waited 4 years to get a turn. It didn't start well against Florida State. She was so relieved when they had that big win against Georgia, in tears after the game, as she hugged her son. And the cigar smoke wafting through the air. Here comes the 4th and 11, we think. Aguilar, that's going to be too high. Out of the back of the end zone over the head of Staley. And the Alabama defense, which has had a great night tonight. They've held Tennessee to 20. They came in averaging a nation high 48. And they've had a safety on defense and a pick 6, which really was the biggest play of the game on the last play of the first half. It looked like Joey Aguilar and the Vols were going to make it a 2-point game. They wound up being down by 16 at halftime instead.
I think all in all, the defense for Alabama, just given what Tennessee had done up to this point, they got to be pretty happy with the performance overall. They didn't give up a lot of explosives in the passing attack. However, it did give up a couple explosives on the ground, which I would imagine with Kane Womack and Kalen DeBoer making that such a point of emphasis the last few weeks, that's something they'll probably need to get to address. But pretty good day for the defense.
Simpson out of the pistol. Gives it to Hill. All right, you're a talk show guy in this state. Do we have a running back controversy at Alabama?
I mean, on Feinbaum you do. I don't know if on our show it'll be the case.
Are you just drinking the Kool-Aid?
Perhaps. I think this is a pretty good tandem of running backs, and see Daniel Hill now healthy provides you a bit of a change of pace, but it's still Jam Miller's show, I would imagine.
Yeah, Jam Miller's a talented guy. It's a collaborative effort to try to get the running game going.
Jeremy Bernard might have a say, though, at 4 for 49. We give him a couple looks.
2:25 to go. Ty Simpson, mentioned Griffin, Tennessee, told us the story. First time he ever went to Neyland Stadium, he was 7 years old in 2010. His dad's UT Martin in the season opener. Derek Dooley's debut as volunteer coach. UT Martin lost 50-0. Ty was in tears on the field, in the locker room after the game. He said he did have one highlight. He met Peyton Manning. Here's a look back at young Ty with his dad. Promise of good things to come when they came on the field. Didn't go so well thereafter.
Yeah, he said that, ironically, when he got to Alabama, Derek Dooley was on the Alabama staff.
And he hated him because he said, you were part of a terrible moment in my childhood. You beat my dad's team 50-0.
Had to iron things out a little bit.
But he got to meet Peyton Manning. Peyton was there as a fan on the sideline before the game. And young Ty asked Peyton Manning a great question. What's it like to play against your brother, Eli? And he said, it's really hard, but it's also really fun.
Really?
Yeah. No, I'm just making it up now. Hey, we're 2:17 to go. It's a 17-point game. Ty Simpson also told us, speaking of great quarterbacks, he wears the number 15 because he grew up idolizing Tim Tebow.
Yeah, pretty cool. Tim, of course, a great quarterback in his day, and Nice to pay a little homage. I know Tebow's proud of him and even said, hey, keep rocking that 1-5.
They had a chance to visit earlier this year, did Simpson and Tebow. It was a great thrill for Ty. 3rd down and 7. Play action pass by Simpson. I think Kalen DeBoer would like him to go down without taking a hit. And that is going to take it to the last Tennessee timeout with 2:06 to go. And the Vols out of timeouts. These two South Dakota natives have made use of their timeouts tonight. Both teams used all 3 of them in the first half, and Alabama has the only remaining timeout in this one. Where does Tennessee go from here? How good are they?
I think they're still pretty good. I think they're a very difficult matchup. They didn't have their best stuff tonight. They had a couple of critical mistakes. You have the interception return to the house that's just a 14-point swing that's almost impossible to overcome. And the fact that I think Aguilar in the second half actually played pretty well. That speaks to his mental toughness and character. But I still think it's a good football team. And if you look at them, that game against Oklahoma will be a very difficult game. Oklahoma's terrific on defense. We know the road trip to Florida, that's always a difficult game in that environment as well. And Vandy's no picnic either. But, man, it's hard to envision the Vols losing on Rocky Top for a second time this season.
Blake Dowd punts. Boo Carter back deep. And he makes a fair catch at the 35. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Sean, after this game, plenty of action still on the ESPN family of networks right now. Florida State trailing at Stanford over on ESPN. Really good one on the SEC network. Number 16, Mizzou at Auburn. 2-minute timeout. They're tied at 17 apiece. Tigers have the ball. Back to you. Well,
it's the first road game of the season for Missouri.
How about that?
On the loveliest village on the plains. Against an Auburn team that really needs a win. Aguilar on target for about a 9-yard completion to Brame. And that's the 2-minute stoppage with 1:57 to go. From Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa, the cigar capital of the world at the moment. Alabama leading 37-20 under 2 minutes to go. Joey Aguilar hits the crosser. Brame, who had 2 catches all year entering tonight, he's become the target here late in the game. This is going to be 11 straight losses in Tuscaloosa for Tennessee, which is their longest road losing streak against any opponent in program history.
1 minute 43 seconds.
I don't think we need to get too nitpicky about the clock at this juncture. They've also, by the way, lost 10 in a row at Gainesville. So later in the year, we showed the schedule, and they're at Florida. They'll try to avoid losing 11 in a row there. Last time Tennessee won here in 2003 is a wild 5 overtime game. Casey Clausen was the quarterback. Justin Jefferson shoves Peyton Lewis out of bounds. $15-yard gain, 1:43 to go. Poised to score again. That has the attention of many. Aguilar with a flag down, several flags down. Pass fluttered incomplete.
Holding defense number 10. 10-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Justin Jefferson.
Been a couple now defensive penalties on Alabama. Looked like that time Justin Jefferson just kind of grabbed him on the sleeves and wasn't allowing the defender, or the wide receiver, excuse me, to break free.
Kane Wannock has to be pleased with the defensive performance. Son of a coach, his dad Dave's a long-time college football defensive coach. Still comes around quite a bit. Great resource for his son. Oh boy, Jamal Jackson flagged down as he picked up Brazel and placed him down.
This is one where you're going to look back at the end of the year.
Pass interference, defense number 1. Calls into play is an automatic first down.
And
Ball be placed at the 2-yard line.
And people look at Alabama's defensive numbers and their defensive rankings. They've given up now 400+ yards to Tennessee, but what percentage of those have been kind of in garbage time, frankly, these last couple drives? And
here's Dave Womack on the left. Long-time defensive coach, defensive coordinator at the end of his career at Ole Miss. Very proud of his son. Nice play, Mekhi Hill-Green. And Dave Womack helps Kane get ready for the next opponent. He said, we were getting on the bus last week in Missouri after the win, and I already had a text message from my dad with a lot of thoughts about Tennessee. You ever see anybody, by the way, with a smaller play sheet than Kane Womack? There's Tamani Jackson again with Chris Brazel. And another pass interference against Omani.
yeah,
Kane Womack showed us that yesterday. I mean, it looked like a napkin.
it's a 3x5.
Yeah, look at that. It looks a little bigger now because it's laminated. And the printing on there is so small. He must have tremendous eyesight.
Must. I mean, the only guy that's even close is Mike Leach. Mike Leach used to do it. It looked like on a receipt. I mean, it was the smallest, and not a receipt from like CVS either. Like, I'm talking like a receipt that you would get anywhere else.
Peyton Lewis, touchdown with 1:01 to go. Or is he? No, they were going to rule him down. Looked from here like he was in. Keon Sabb made the tackle. There are many watching with interest if there will be more points in this game. Peyton Lewis with another flag down.
You just know Kalen DeBoer is going to get asked at some point down the road, oh, look at your team struggling with penalties. Look at your team.
False start. Offense number 74. 5-yard penalty. This penalty results in a 10-second runoff. Please reset the game clock to 31 seconds, and the clock will start on my signal.
But if you really look at it, it's been a remarkably clean game from Alabama from a penalty standpoint until these last few moments, and this one, of course, on Tennessee. But these are the games that just inflate the numbers and create a false narrative.
The over-under is 60.5.
You just came out and said it.
I did.
So
that's why we're referencing it. I never used to mention those things. I still wish I didn't have to. I don't have to, but it's a reality now.
It's 2025.
Sports and sports viewing. Aguilar throws incomplete. It's amazing how many times even one-side games, something comes down to the very end, whether it's the point spread, the over, the under. The building cigar smoke. Can we send, do you think we can put in for dry cleaning?
I'm going to try to expense the dry cleaning.
We're going to smell like we were in our cigars.
We're going to have to defend ourselves. We've been good up in the booth.
Peyton Lewis does not get in. And the final seconds are going to tick off. Underwhelming finish. And Alabama has won for the 17th time in the last 19 meetings with Tennessee. Josh Heupel is 2-3 as Tennessee coach against Alabama with both wins at home, all 3 losses here in Tuscaloosa. They've only played here 17 times. For many years, most of the rivalry, the Alabama home games were in Birmingham. So even though they've played 108 times, just 17 times here. I don't think these folks would have seen this coming after the opening defeat at Florida State. Very impressive turnaround and a very good-looking football team right now.
Tremendous turnaround. And I think what's most impressive, the response immediately, and then the subtle improvements that we've seen over the last 6 weeks. It's really